somebody from Militiaman's
What's
camp.
his name again?
Tippy 914.
Okay, Tippy 914. Militiaman's person.
He says they talk about the ISX index is up 52% in 2023. The shares are priced in Iraqi dinar and they are exchange rate related. Think about that as an investor of the IQD and or the ISX. Those that think this is not going to happen. The ISX has a new platform that started in 24. Why now before the 47th International Fair? See you all soon, MM. To me, that's great, but 52% ISX is up. But how do you say that's a clear-cut, concise?
No, the bigger question
marker?
is have him, Tippy, explain to us why that's such a big deal. They always put that on there. This is a big deal, but okay, but why is it a big deal? Trust me, I, as a person who actually literally owns a crap load of stock in Iraq, trust me. So the index is up. Oh, okay, good. We like that. That means that people are buying into Iraq. We don't have a problem with it. But what are you saying? You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
somebody made a comment under one of the videos. No, in one of the videos, a militiaman. And that's the one that yesterday where I, calmly explain things. But, he's like, oh, we got all these companies coming from around the world into Iraq. Why would they come here for a cheaper exchange? I was like, oh my God, are you serious? What do you think? Why do you think, companies would want to go to Iraq with a cheap exchange rate? How about the fact that you can make products over there for way cheaper? I said,
Cheap labor.
Why would, so if you had to choose between making products here in the United States versus making products over there in Iraq, you got the union up your ass and you're paying these guys like $21 an hour. I'm just making this shit up to simplify it. As much as it costs me for, 10 U.S. employees, I can hire 30 over in Iraq because their currency is so cheap. Products, service, labor costs, everything is cheaper. So as an investor, why would I want the Iraqi dinar to go up? I mean, that's just common sense.
Right. If I'm a major corporation looking to build something or manufacture, I'm not looking for them to have a $3.22 rate.
No. You don't see Nike over here dealing with union workers in the United States. They're in China paying people like $10 a freaking week, if they're paying them at all, to make their shoes that they sell over here for hundreds of dollars. So, I mean, that should tell you right there. Why do you think so many corporations were pissed off at Trump when he said, if you're going to take your companies outside of America and then try to bring them back here and sell the products, I'm going to tax the shit out of you with tariffs. And that's why they were pissed. And a lot of companies started to come back. So...
Yep. So, anyway, I wanted to ask you a few things while I had you.
Sure.
Real fast. First, you and I were having a discussion over the phone about large construction projects in the last 20 years that have been going on. Because a lot of people like to say that all these major construction projects.
Yeah, how can a budget pass? How can a budget pass with a low exchange rate when they have all these projects?
Right. How are they going to be able to afford to do all this? And if you go back and look throughout 2003, they've been doing large projects.
That's
all the way back since even when the insurgent war was going on, they were still managing to get large projects done.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to tell people. I was like, well, how do you suppose they did it between, 2000 and 2022? You know what I mean?
Right.
I do have a long list of, completed projects from 2000 to 2023. I mean, we're talking about bridges, highways, schools, buildings. You guys, come on, look at the Central Bank of Iraq's new bank. It's the tallest building in Iraq, and it's almost completed. And guess what? They did it with the current exchange rate. It's like this, right. But I do understand that though, because I admitted this before. Back when I first started getting into this, I would look at budgets and go, how the hell are they going to do this with this kind of exchange rate? Let me tell you why people are screwing this up. They're not thinking in dinar terms. They're thinking in American dollar terms. Right. And that's where everything is getting screwed up. Like, well, how if I'm going to build this building, I want, $70 million, you know what I mean? But that's not how it works. You have to think in dinar terms. So, and so they price it in dinar terms.
Right. You're right. So that's, yeah. All right. So then you just touched on it, building roads, infrastructure and how they've been rebuilding infrastructure. They've been doing it, bridges, roads, like you said.
Since 2020.
Power plants.
Since 2000. Yeah.
Right. Sewage plants.
Yeah.
All these things.
Sewage plants, bridges, roads, buildings, schools, hospitals.
We're not talking about just $1 million. We're talking 2.9 billion, 2.8 billion, 1.9 billion.
What do you mean? How do they do that with Iraqi dinar exchange rate? That's
I like the one where they say what major company is going to go in there and want to do that for that rate. I guess a lot.
Yeah, as many as possible. If they had their way, they would make the exchange rate even cheaper.
Right. So I was looking back as I was telling you what the USA had invested in the first 3 years and where we still are today, things that still need to come. Mm-hmm. The United States, what was it, the Iraqi Relief Fund or whatever when we first started rebuilding?
You have the Iraqi Redevelopment Fund, you have the Iraqi
there's so many.
Reconstruction Fund. Yeah, there's a ton of them.
There's so many. But the other part of that, though, is I was reading that they had a problem with corruption in the government siphoning off the funds.
What?
Yeah.
Corruption in Iraq's government?
There was articles, and even Delta, I asked Delta about it. He said, Carl, you must understand, a lot of these politicians...
No, he said there's 100% corruption. I was like,
He did.
That's a little extreme, but okay.
He did. But he was saying there's so many places that were supposed to... construction...
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you what they did. So let's say you wanted to start a project building houses, right? And so you put in for a grant. Let's say you want 100 million US dollars or whatever the equivalent is in dinars, right? And they go, okay. And you go, here's my crew. Here's all my employees. You put a list of employees on there. Half of them are not even real. Half of them are made up people. So when they get the money, the owner of the project would just steal the money. So they would do that. So they would get all the materials out there and then be gone. They would just keep the money. They would just steal the money, no completion. Nobody was following up on whether or not these people even started the project. You know what I mean? So when Al-Qadimi got in there, he's like, hold on. Dude, we need to do an audit. And he went after all these people who had these fictitious employees and were getting paychecks and knowing that these people were keeping the money. So he went after them, arrested them. He said, we need to take an audit of all projects to figure out which ones have been started, which ones are still going, which ones have been completed, because nobody would keep track of that shit. And a lot of these politicians use family members to go out there and steal the hell out of the money.
Yeah, they do that here.
Yeah, they still do.
They do that here.
I mean, come on now. Over here in California, we've been working on this light rail system now for 12 years. There's billions of dollars into it. And we don't even have a rail up. You know what I mean? It's like terrible.
That's hilarious. Then I have an unpopular question. I'm going to probably put it out as a poll on my site, but very unpopular. Do you think Iraq was better off with Saddam in power?
Yeah, but not just Iraq. And people won't understand why this answer is the way it is unless you know a lot about politics and the Middle East region. When Saddam was in power, he literally kept everybody else, all these other countries, in check. They wouldn't be acting a fool like they are now. They wouldn't. And once Saddam was removed, then the entire Middle East became disabled because everybody was controlled by what was going on in Iraq. So, I think when the leader from Lebanon, Gaddafi, and got together with Saddam Hussein. And they publicly told the world they're going to create a gold-backed dinar for oil.
Oh, you talking about Libya? Muammar Gaddafi?
Yeah.
Muammar Gaddafi?
Yeah, so, they told the whole world. They did. They're in a UN meeting. They said, we are going to create a gold-backed dinar that you're going to have to buy our oil with. And I was like, oh, boy, them guys just really screwed up. All of a sudden, Gaddafi is killed. Oh, he's a terrible guy. And then we got weapons of mass destruction. He's a terrible guy. So here's where I learned one of the most valuable lessons in my life. And I had a friend, and I said, oh, you must be thrilled to death that Gaddafi's dead now. You feel free. She said, I won't be mad at you because you don't understand. And I was like, oh, what happened? She goes, no. Stop believing your media. They're lying to you. People don't understand when Gaddafi was here, We all had free medical, free everything. And if we cannot provide a service in our country, he would pay to have us citizens flown to where we can get our treatment and back.
Oh.
I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, we didn't have to pay for college because he believed by helping people become more educated benefited the country. And I was like, sweetie, I'm sorry. She goes, no, you don't know, because she was really about to cry. She goes, Gaddafi wasn't an angel, but he did more for his people than anybody else. And now look where they are. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, they disabled the whole Middle East.
So that's where, I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole politics part of it, but, you know, I've read certain things and I've heard other people talk, you know.
Keep going out here. I have to get something real quick, but keep going.
The CIA created ISIS, and that's who we sicked on Muammar Gaddafi. It was ISIS that went in there and pretty much took him out and killed him. His own people didn't do it. It wasn't an uprising by his own people like our media would portray it to be.
Yeah,
you know, it was CIA.
So people forget.
Stood.
People forget that when Obama was in office, and I could show you the video of this, he admitted that they were the ones funding, arming, and supporting ISIS. He said, but he called them ISIL. He said, yes, we're arming them. Yes, we're funding them. Yes, we're training them. I was like, really?
Where do you think all those brand new Toyota Tundras came from? They were
oh
driving
my God, I know.
desert.
If that wasn't the biggest show of proof that we are the ones that created ISIS, it's weird how when Obama was in office, they grew and grew and grew. But then once Trump was in there, boy howdy, I remember him going, "Oh, this is the D League, really? D League?" Well, Trump's like, "Yeah, they are. Wiped them all out, dude." In 2 weeks, there was like ISIS who? You know what I mean?
Right.
So tell me how it was that Trump, not Obama, how was Trump able to do something that Obama couldn't accomplish for almost 4 years? You know what Trump said? I stopped listening to these idiots over here in Washington and in Pentagon, and I went and talked to the leaders over there on the ground, the boots on the ground, the people that are there being involved in a war. He said, what do you guys need? And he made sure they got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what a real leader does.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a bad day to be a terrorist leader when Trump was in office. How many Al-Qaeda and ISIS leaders did we take out?
No, I one time did a video showing people how many terrorist leaders Trump took out. And they're like, well, Trump didn't do it. You get what I'm saying. During his administration, how many terrorist leaders were wiped out? I mean, seriously, these people woke up dead. I mean, I was like, look, it truly was a bad time to be terrorist leaders. 27. Yes. A lot of them, these people, these names, you know, even Osama bin Laden's son was a leader of Al-Qaeda, and they didn't know that he got wiped out by, you know, under the Trump administration. He was dead because the media is not going to give Trump credit for anything. Not at all. He wiped out so many leaders of terrorist groups. It was just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Well, Soleimani thought he was untouchable, and he showed him differently.
Yeah, but it wasn't just Soleimani that was with him. We also had...
No, it was somebody else. A couple people, right?
Yeah, the Baghdad, what was his name?
Was it al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS? Yeah.
No, you know what makes me sick is our own news agencies are like, well, you know, al-Baghdadi, he was a religious man. You know what I mean?
Oh.
He was a family man. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Seriously? The fact that they said that, and, you know, Soleimani, he was a religious man. He was there to keep the Middle East together. I was like, what am I hearing this right?
More attacks. They were plotting more attacks.
Yeah, they were killing Americans. And I was like, what the hell? Then, you know, look, if you weren't sick before, that should have made you real sick of this mainstream media. So when Trump does it, everything about him is bad. The people that he kills are all great people. They're outstanding citizens of the world, and they're there for your protection. No, they're killing Americans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, all the things they were doing in Iraq, Afghanistan, all over the Middle East and everywhere else they could touch us. You know,
no, look, that thing in Afghanistan, this is a planned event, man. Come on, when you're leaving, what is it, $7 billion of military equipment, they had to have known. There's no way this could have happened at all without it being planned. And now all those weapons and equipment, all in the hands of a lot of terrorist groups, plus our own adversaries. Russia picked up some stuff. They wanted to examine the helicopters and the equipment and pick up their technology. So this happened under Obama as well. So Biden did it, Obama did it, or should I say this is Obama's third term, and he just continued the same bullshit.
Yeah, right. I also heard on a funny note with that A lot of the helicopters and some of the airplanes that the terrorists tried to fly around, they ended up crashing because they couldn't do it.
Yeah. So the other thing was we were told that there was they implanted. There's something that's always been implanted on our own equipment. Some kind of chip that's on there that we can override and just crash the vehicles. So I mean, whether that's true or not, that's funny. But a lot of what gets me is when Afghanistan, started to take control of their country. There was a special forces group from Afghanistan. And when I spoke about it, people were like, no, they never had a special forces. I even had a military guy go, Pimpy, look, I am special forces. They don't have one. And then I found an article showing, I go, look, I'm showing you guys who trained them. Everybody's like, wait a minute, where'd they come from? Who trained them? Where the hell did these people come from? In Afghanistan, they've never had a special forces group. So people were shocked. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm asking you guys. Come to find out, they were trained somewhere by U.S. forces because they were there to protect Afghanistan. I was like, no, that's the thing. When you look at what happened when Obama was in office, not just ISIS, but you had the whole Benghazi thing. The guy, Christopher, that was murdered along with other people, were killed because they're going to snitch on the fact that between Hillary Clinton and Obama, they were selling arms to terrorist groups over there. So, the way government is set up right now, this shit is all new at the time. But then they have, we're going to investigate. And then all of a sudden people forget all about it. And so do they. Right. You never hear anything.
Right. So on a positive note, in our dinar investment, what are some positive things, some positive steps that you see that you've heard in the last, let's just say 2023, that you can remember off the top of your head? What are some positive steps in the right direction that you see?
Just that I was not a fan of Al-Sidini. I was more of a Al-Qademi fan. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want Sidini to be voted into office because I knew he was a Maliki protege. You know what I mean? But I'm pleasantly surprised, on how wrong I was. Al-Sidini has put Iraq on track in many different ways. It wasn't just that he created a 3-year budget in which a lot of it is addressing the infrastructure that needs to be changed, but also he did take Al-Qademi's economic reform, including the bank reform, because it was necessary because it came from the IMF. And I showed everybody why, they're going, well, Iraq's doing these great things. Yeah, because they have to, you know what I mean? Those reforms are things that need to be done according to the IMF. But not just that, people don't realize, like, you hear them go, well, we want to boost confidence in our currency. You understand that that's part of IMF's, if you're in the IMF agreement, that's part of your duties, is you have to create confidence in your currency. So, yeah, I mean, we got the Port of Fa being worked on. It should be completed. You have the one road. By the way, I don't like it because it's with China. I mean, I shouldn't say by the way. Well, I don't like it because it has more to do with China's Silk Road Initiative, but it's great for Iraq. Between those two things, the ports and the one road, that's really going to open the doors for Iraq economically. Because I remember, hearing Trump say that Iraq was the gateway into the Middle East, and I thought, no, they're way in the back. But then when you look at how you go into water-wise, you know what I mean? They are literally right there in the middle, and you can go left, right, straight, whatever, and hit all the
wherever
other countries.
You want to go.
Yeah, so that does make them perfect. So it's just the fact that he seems to be getting shit done, and I know there's a lot of people out there that invest in the dinar and want it to happen overnight. We all do. We do. But that's not realistic. So when I got into this whole dinar thing, I had some knowledge, but nothing like I do now. Because before, I really didn't put the effort in to study it. I could just talk about it loosely because everybody else did. But after a while, I was like, well, the way you guys are talking about it is not quite right. You're leaving out way too much information. Then I realized it's because they don't know it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, no, man. So how to give the information to the people without boring them to death is a hard thing to do. Some of the questions that they ask or some of the things they need to know, it's hard to answer with a short answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you just kind of like find a way to just generalize it. You know what I mean? You're just generalizing the answer. and hopefully to get it. But when you have these other content creators out there that take the information and pervert it, and it's totally wrong, it's like, no, that's not right. It's not right at all.
Right. So as far as the question for somebody in the investment, I was asked by Michael Mobley, what about a trust? If you put your money in a trust, wonder if they can do the same thing. And he's talking about, them stealing our wealth from us. If the banks did a bail-in, I imagine, things of that nature.
Yeah.
What do you know about trust?
If you want to avoid a bail-in, take your money out of the bank. I know a lot of you guys got a lot of money. I get it. Take it out of the bank. Put it into precious metals. Only keep enough money in your bank account to pay your monthly bills and a little bit of miscellaneous. Because when this doo-doo hits the fan, you're going to be like, oh my God, they took all my money. Trust me, all you got to do is look at, I did a video called The Lessons from Cyprus, in which they test ran what a bail-in would be. So you guys, you got to pay attention.
That was 2013, right?
Was it? I think it was, somewhere around 2013. Yeah, that sounds about right.
2013.
They took everybody's money. Everybody's. Even millionaires, they took their money, right? But a lot of the accounts were only insured up to $100,000. So if you had $6 million in there, oh well, here's $100,000. And then to add injury to insult, they tax them 6% for their insured money. Dude, that's so screwed up. You know what I mean?
But the scary part and the sad part is, I think it was 2017, they passed a law, or maybe it was sooner in 2017, where instead of doing bailouts now, we can now do bail-ins. There's language written in law here in the States where the banks can do bail-ins if they so needed to, because they don't want to do bailouts.
That's why I tell people, most people don't pay attention to the details of these laws they want to pass. They go, oh, what did Obama say? Look, the American citizens and taxpayers bailing out these banks isn't right. So we're going to protect you from now on. And what we're going to do is we're going to make bail-ins illegal. Bailouts illegal. But what they don't tell you is they're doing bail-ins, which is the same thing, if not worse. Yeah. So it's like, wait a minute, what'd you do? It's like, well, I'm not going to jerk you off. I'm just going to bone you in your booty. It's like, what? You both of them are a bad situation. You know what I mean? So, it is pretty much what it is. But to finish, putting it in a trust, putting it whatever, either way, if you leave your money in the bank, it's gondo, man. You have to have it in your house. And people are like, well, I don't feel comfortable having it in my house. Well, then you find a gold and silver place that allows you to store your precious metals there. But you definitely want to have a place where you can store your metals that is segregated. In other words, the precious metals are not mixed with the company's regular inventory, because a lot of these companies will sell out their inventory, and that includes their clients' stored inventory just because. So if you have a segregated, they keep your precious metals separate from their inventory, so it's always there. You know what I mean? So that's the best direction to go. But right now, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the data that they're telling us. I don't trust what the banks are saying. I don't trust anybody. So I don't keep anything in the bank except for what I got to use to pay monthly bills. Everything else is in precious metals. If I have to pay for something that I did not, plan for, then I'll just run down to my local bullion dealer. I've been doing it for years. The cool thing about that is you guys do cash, and you do, you either buy it from them or they buy it from you. There's nothing on record, man. They don't have any idea who they're selling or buying from. They just have it as a transaction.
That's nice. So that brings me to where I wanted to take this tonight. And I watched something from Gerald Celente on IMT Trading.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the gold fork, his trend for gold for 2024. Okay, great. Gold, he thinks in his mind is going to hit 3,000 in 24. But he's only saying that because they're going to cut interest rates, and the dollar is just going to take a fall. It's just going to go to crap, and pretty much is what I got from him. And gold is going to spike.
So, well, actually, it might be the opposite. I'm looking at deflation now. So when it comes to the prices of gold and silver, you might see them start to come down. And, in my opinion, they're going to come down a little bit.
Why do you say that?
Deflation. Okay. Because now all of a sudden we're going to be flooded with our own dollars. They're going to come out. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to want them anymore. They're just going to flood us with them. So now what happens when the country has too many of their own dollars? One thing you have to deal with deflation. Okay?
Right.
So all of a sudden prices are going to go down, which is a good thing. But, the rumor is they're going to cut interest rates 6 times this next year. 6 times. So I tell people, stop being fooled with that, because they might go, we need to find a way for people to start trusting us, to get back into investing in the stock market, to get back into investing in the cryptocurrencies, but get them away from gold and silver. Oh, I know. This is what we're going to do. That's how I see it. I mean, I really believe that's what they do, because they know the reason why gold and silver suffers where they do at the value that they do is because it's manipulated data. They manipulate us. But you having an earthquake, motherfucker? What you got going on over there?
No, Justin dropped his phone.
I was like, somebody's got a drunk relative paying attention. Look.
Yeah.
So right now, all these central banks around the world are stocking up on record amounts of gold. Do as they do, not as they say. I don't care if gold prices and silver prices drop down to $1 ounce each. Who cares? Stop looking at, how much money you gained or lost based on the value of precious metals. Because precious metals are beyond the value. They're way beyond the value. It's about protecting your family. It is. So you need something outside of the system. So right now, the central banks around the world are stocking up on gold. And why do you suppose that is? It's because they know they have no choice. The Federal Reserve and them eventually are going to have to go to the gold standard. And people go, well, you've been saying that for years. Yeah, but somehow, some way, they've been able to keep afloat. But that can only go on for so long. Why are all these countries buying up tons and tons of gold? It's because they're going to the gold standard. Why is Iraq and Libya missing all their gold holdings from when we invaded them? Gee, where did that gold go? That's a good question. I wonder where it went. It's here. That's what it is. We have it. We own it. We're supposed to be the world's biggest gold holders, but they won't let us audit it in Fort Knox. Why? My thought is that they either lent it out or sold it. Hope not. But you're going to see a mad dash of our own Federal Reserve start buying up gold if they haven't started already and they haven't told us. They're going to buy tons of it, because they have no choice. In order to cover all this debt, they have no choice but to revalue gold. So if you're holding on to precious metals, get ready, because that's going to be a tsunami of a ride. They'll jack the price down and people will panic like doilies. My listeners know better. They don't give a shit if it drops down to $1. Sure, it'll look like it sucks, but they know that this is not to be trusted. Hang on.
It's time to buy more.
Hang on. That's what I say. Buy more, buy more. Think cost average. Buy, and hang tight and get ready. Just when you think it's not going to get any better, then all of a sudden, bam, overnight, it's going to revalue, and it's going to revalue. And you'll be like, holy crap, man, I bought gold and it was like $2,000 an ounce. Now it's like freaking $50,000 an ounce. Yeah, that's not an exaggeration, by the way. That's an actual example. That's how much debt we have.
Right. So to your point, Jim Willie on Arcadia was just saying around the world, banks are buying gold and sovereigns are selling out their treasuries and buying gold.
Yeah, of course they are. Well,
what
are you going to do with the friggin' treasuries? They're not worth a shit, man. That's banking on your government. And we all know that. I can tell you right now, our government, the Federal Reserve, that's not our government, but our Federal Reserve Bank, they are insolvent. They have been insolvent. They're bankrupt, you guys. They have no money. They have nothing but air. They're just farting in the wind, hoping you don't smell it, all right? Come on, trust me. They don't have the money. They are insolvent. They're bankrupt, all right? So to avoid the disgrace, or the truth of the matter is, to avoid us from uprising and lynching them for all this crap, they're making every excuse possible. COVID. Oh, yeah, COVID. No, not COVID. People are like, what else? It's one thing after another. After a while, people are like, yeah, these seem like distractions from the truth, that you've been robbing us from our money through taxes for stupid shit for how long? And you're supposed to be managing the money, and you now are so far in debt that our grandchildren's are going to be enslaved to this? No, I'd rather just lynch you and tell other countries, screw you on the money we owe you. And just, you know what I mean? And just figure out a new way to come together around the world and screw with the government, what kind of debt they put us in, and figure out a fresh start. Seriously, I know that sounds naive, but you get the point I'm trying to make. And that is, people are waking up that your government isn't there for you. They're there to screw you is what they're doing.
Right. They enslave you so that way you pay your taxes and you be a good servant.
It doesn't have to be that way. That's what's so sad. Seriously,
I know.
it doesn't.
I know, but who's going to give me my government phone, Pimpy? Who's going to give me my free Wi-Fi, Pimpy?
You don't want that government phone. Literally, it is tracking you, and you don't have any idea about it.
I know.
You thought everyone's like, Obama's cool, give me a track phone. I was like, yeah, that tracks you. It's the reason why it's called a track phone.
Track phone. So I got a twist for you. I was listening to Jim Willie, and he's talking about, the sovereigns are, getting rid of their treasuries, they're buying gold. And Arab countries like Qatar and Dubai, they're adopting XRP, and BRICS is going to be using XRP as their intermediate exchange for trade.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that?
I mean, I heard that rumor before. I seen some paperwork that said they originally started thinking about using XRP, but they're actually thinking about using XLM. Now people are like, well, then that means XRP is going to go to the moon. I go, okay, come on, listen to me, man. If they're going to start using it as a particular currency, they're just going to give it, each token is going to be its own unit. So at the most you should hope for is it's equivalent to $1. Seriously. It's like a stable coin. And they're not calling it a stable coin, but that means like their transactions would be like, well, I owe you $300,000 or 300,000 XRP. It's the same thing, you guys. I can't see it getting higher than $1 if that's the case. We don't know, because some of the paperwork that I have from the BIS, they want to incorporate crypto, but these have classifications, and the classifications with the high priority is any cryptocurrency that actually backs up their cryptos with gold gets higher priority than anybody else. And XRP is not backed by gold.
Right. Wow. Well, I'm glad to see that you've been doing your studying, young man.
Oh, you know what it's like to be the burden of being the almighty known of all. Yeah, of course I do. Of course I read this stuff. What I'm trying to do is figure out what can I bring to people listening to my channel that can help benefit them. It's never about me, and I mean it with all my heart. Don't trust me. If I know the information, I'll benefit from it too. But if I can help out people who are listening to my channel, then my reward is that these families or individuals are prepared for what's going on, and when they come out on the other side, they're doing pretty good, and they're not struggling. It's always been that way for me. So, if I find out different about XRP, the New World Order coin, then I'll tell people different. I don't trust it. It is a New World Order coin. They help create and contribute to the central bank digital currency. And because of that, now I think it doesn't make a difference. People are like, well, Pimpy, what happens if they get to $500,000 a coin? I don't care. And you know what I mean? There's some things bigger than myself. Who doesn't want the money? Yeah, but why would I want to contribute to a cryptocurrency that help create a token that enslaves every man, woman, and child for the rest of their lives? I don't.
Right. I read somewhere or listened somewhere where someone said that the elites came up with Bitcoin. No matter what backstory you were told about Hitoshi or whatever the hell his name was, that it's the same thing. It was trickery. You may think it's deregulated, and it appears to be, but you know what I mean? It was created by the elites for
look. So cryptocurrencies would be considered disruptive technology. You are never, ever, ever, ever. Okay, let me just reword this. It is extremely rare, and I mean extremely rare, that you will come across disruptive technology that the government hasn't already got their hands on, explored it, exploited it, figured out what they need to do, how to handle it before they release it to the public. That's the honest to God truth. So cryptocurrencies, you know what? The government's been playing with crypto since the 80s and 90s. So when it came out and whenever it did, with Bitcoin, do you think the government's like, oh my God, they just created a currency that's alternate than ours. Oh, how dare them? No, they've already gone through it, ripped it apart, figuring out how can we promote this? How can we control it? How can we, you know what I mean? All they're doing is making sure that you guys are adapted to the idea of going to a central bank digital currency. You know what I mean? So in blockchain technology, everybody's like, well, blockchain technology is great. It is great. It is. But I showed a video in which Secret Service came out and said, we created blockchain technology to make sure that we could keep track of criminals internationally. I was like, what did he say? They said, Secret Service, we created blockchain technology. People are like, well, blockchain technology was created by blah, 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 some random Joe Blow public. And I'm like, they want us to believe that it's one of us common folk, but no. It's very rare that we create something that the government hasn't already destroyed inside and out, or, you know what I mean, screwed with it inside and out before it's released to the public. Very, very rare. Like the guy that created a car that could run on water, they were like, "Oh,
they killed him."
Yeah, they killed him. They're like, "Holy shit!" My friend, he figured out the formula. His car literally runs on water. And I was like, well, "How do you make that car?" He's like, "No, you nuts! I'm not getting my ass killed. You can just figure it out on your own." And I was like, "Your car runs on water. It does." Not only that, he has a machine that's on the back that takes the moisture out of the air and converts it into his tank of gas or water. So the humidity in the air. God. So this machine captures it. So you don't even have to like put a hose in the back and fill it up full of water. This machine collects the humidity that's in the air and accumulates in his tank as he's driving, man. I'm like, gosh, dang, he took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, that poor bastard. If he tried to come to market with that, he'd be a dead son bitch.
No, man. But it shouldn't be that way. You know what I mean?
I know.
So
I agree.
I know people aren't going to think this is funny, or not funny. They're like, yeah, sure, right. I don't care. But talking to my friend, and I was explaining to her, because Trump's talking about what we could do and just improve life for Americans. I said, well, you know what I would do? I said, open up a science fair, a real one, all right, a real science fair. Mm-hmm. People from around the world are allowed to come here and demonstrate to us their inventions. We used to have one, but back in the olden days, depending on what you invented, you can get some very powerful companies coming in, buying your idea from you, and then shutting it down. Don't allow that. So what we do is we do this fair, right? If we find some stuff that we really like, we offer them a grant and people to help them build their company so that we can actually make it happen. Not keep it from the people, but actually give it to the people. There's these two college kids that have invented a way to clean our oceans. Clean them. Like clean them. They said, I guarantee we can have the oceans so clean in less than 5 years if you use our idea. No chemicals, no nothing. They were showing this machine. I was like, I have no idea what I'm looking at, but it looks impressive. But they said, if you put these in the water and you put them at this location, we can have the entire ocean clean in less than 5 years. The entire ocean clean. So whatever happened to that? You know what I mean? Whatever happened to the car that runs on water? Whatever happened to, you know what I mean? There's a kid, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a ninth grade kid that just came out. He invented soap that you can use that prevents you from getting skin cancer. Where's that soap? I'm sure the doctor's like, wait, wait a minute. No, we can't have anything that cures cancer. You know, there's a doctor over in Texas. I did a video about him. He can actually cure you of cancer. But he said the government tried to lock me up. They stole my patents. He said they did everything possible. So he came up with a settlement with them, and that is he can only treat people in his community, but he can't do anything outside of it. He actually, there's a thing called the incurable cancer, which is brain cancer, right? He found a way to cure that. There's so many testimonies on YouTube. There's a fireman, I think it was, or a policeman that came in to testify on his behalf, saying, he had twin daughters. One of them was dying of cancer. They did his treatment, right? But she did pass away, unfortunately. But when she passed away, it wasn't because of his treatment. It's because of the chemo she went through. Her brain was freaking mush. They killed her. Most people don't understand, just because you go chemotherapy, congratulations, it's going to prolong your life for a little bit longer, but you're eventually going to die from the radiation, the chemotherapy. But there is technology out there. There are medicines out there that could benefit humanity. But these fucking assholes out there, you can end that, but these assholes out there are purposely keeping it from us. You know what I mean? And that sounds like a conspiracy thing, but it's not. I can tell. I'll send you the link. You can share it with your people. I'll send you the link, and you see Borzlowski, I think is his name, Dr. Borzlowski, and he could treat any cancer. So trust me when I tell you this. You want to share this with your listeners, and the reason for that is this: I guarantee they have a family member that's got cancer. I lost my father to cancer. He was exposed to Agent Orange when he was in Vietnam. Yep. And when I told Dad, then how come the government didn't compensate you? He said, I don't know, but I became friends with senators, and I caught my senators. I said, what's the word with Agent Orange? I know you guys are handling it. I have 2 senators here in California that were supposed to be tackling this. And they were like making an excuse. I was like, no. Think about who you're talking to. Because that's not going to stand with me. And they're like, so yeah, one of them sat me off. He goes, okay, let's talk, Lee. I said, okay. He's like, you're never going to get support other than the very minimum that we've given those people exposed by Agent Orange. I know you want to sue these corporations. And I said, yeah, and you guys are interfering and keeping us from suing them. He goes, I know. That's because they pay us a whole lot of money to make that happen. I was like, I hope you're screwing me because I'm about to jump over this table and kick the shit out of you, dude. He's like, no, I'm not playing with you. He goes, they do that. They make sure that they can't get sued. So they pass all kinds of legislations that protect them. And they'll try to throw you a bone. Well, they'll take care of your medical care for the rest of your life. No, that's not good enough. Well, some of your family members will take care of their medical care. You want to know why? Because getting exposed to Agent Orange and you get cancer, it's hereditary. So my father died from it, so we get to look forward to that possibility of dying of cancer because of Agent Orange. Do you see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense.
It does. My uncle suffers from Agent Orange. He was in Vietnam. It's ugly. Ugly says. Well, hey, listen, I want to thank you for coming on and clearing up some questions. I want to throw this out. I know we're a little long. People probably won't listen this long, but I hope they do.
Well, we're at 42 minutes. And if you are recording this and you're going to edit it, by the time you're done, it's probably going to be down. It's going to be much shorter than you think.
Right? But I want to invite Militia Man. Militia Man, I would love to invite you on, and I'd love for you and Pimpy and myself to have a conversation.
Oh, good Lord, you want me on the same show as him? He won't do it, dude. Look, I'll be the nicest guy in the world. And we can sit down and talk about our opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not the boogeyman, you guys. But if you guys insist on being idiots, then I have something to say. Just because.
Well, that's just.
Yeah, look, the more important thing is the people that listen to us. If you don't make them the priority and you make yourself the priority, then don't do this. All right? Because it's not about you. It's about all of us together. And I mean that with all my heart.
I'll tell you this honestly, Pimpy. I'm not like you. I'm not like Militia Man. I'm not a guru. I don't come on and teach anything. I'm just like the people in your comments. I am the people in your comments. Let's be quite honest. I started this, as you know, because I couldn't get nowhere.
No, I remember this asshole saying, Pimpy, don't even respond to me. I was like, what the dude, I make videos and respond to your comments. What's he talking? And then I sent him a message, an email. Did he reach out to me? No. I sent another one. Did he reach out to me? No. I was like, F you, dude, man. The nerve of you. So that's how we started talking. But yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I want to invite Militia Man on. You know what I mean? We respect you as a person. We respect your opinion. We just want to come on and conversate for the people.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. Look, Militia Man, I think he's a good guy, man. Seriously, I can see us all hanging out and joking and teasing one another and drinking beers and shit. But when it comes to content creation and you bring that up, we're not going to agree with one another. We're just not going to. So, that doesn't mean we can't be civil and have conversations. People go, well, I try to hook you and Militia Man up, but he's afraid that you're going to, no, stop. I don't do that when I'm in an interview with people. I talk shit in my videos, but I start off differently when we're live or we're doing a video together. I'll listen to what you have to say, but be very, very, very careful about the information that you're bringing to the table. And if I find out that you're blatantly and purposely trying to be misleading, then that's a different beast altogether. Because then I will bitch slap you all over this fucking interview, man. I will. Okay, seriously. I can't stand people who do that. Look, I'm grateful to God. I've been blessed with the fact that I can come on here and just share my opinion and get paid for it. I've been blessed. My other channel, I did very, very well. And this channel is starting to get up there again. So, if you're on here being greedy and you want to make a lot of money and that's your goal, then don't do this. But if you want to come on YouTube and bring information to people that can make their lives better, then do it. I invite that, man, seriously. But don't bring God into this shit and don't lie and don't mislead and don't act like and that you got this intel. You don't. I've invited Militiaman, and not just him, but I told him he's allowed to bring his whole crew with him on my show. So he feels like he's got reinforcements. You know what I mean? I don't want him to feel like, oh my God, it's just me by myself. No, he's more than welcome. Will he come on the show? No. You cannot get any. Good luck on trying to find anybody that's willing to come on your show and have me on at the same time. They just won't do it. They just won't do it. Even if I promise to behave myself. Look, Delta came on, and even when he was saying things that I didn't agree with, I sat there quietly and listened to him. You know what I mean?
But y'all had good conversation.
Yes, we did.
Y'all went back and forth. At the end of it, when I talked to Delta, he didn't feel any certain kind of way. He thought it was great dialogue, and that's why I started.
I agree.
This.
I agree.
It's the dialogue.
Look, I agree. Even though you don't agree with one another, that doesn't mean you have to stand on and go, "Hey, fuck you, dude! I'm gonna jump through this and stop this." You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that way, man. It doesn't. No. I'm easygoing guy. I'm reachable. People are surprised how easy it is to reach me. They're like, holy crap, I'm actually talking to you. I'm like, yeah, why?
You're some weirdo freak in the email. That's why I didn't respond to you. I'm like, yeah, right, Pimpy.
He's like, that guy wouldn't actually reach out to me. Hello, it's me. Right. Hey, buddy. Hey, it's me.
Yeah. Then I heard your video where you're like, I reached out to this guy. Screw him.
He's like, go to the trash, pull that email out right now.
Yeah, exactly what happened. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here, guys. I thank you for sticking with us. I know we've been dragging it out tonight, but I wanted to get some of this information out, guys, especially about the gold and silver. I wanted to touch on the things in Iraq. I think we touched on some of that. So don't buy the hype when they tell you guys that all this has to be done by the 15th. They can't possibly build everything they got to build.
They put themselves in a corner. Today is the 10th right now as we speak. They have 5 days. 5 days. They already said the beginning of the year, and it hasn't happened. But then some of them are like, well, wait a minute. We said the beginning of the year. They didn't say how many days. So now a lot of them are saying the 15th. And the funny thing is, I know where that date comes from. They think the amendments for the budget have to be done by the 15th. It doesn't. All right? It doesn't. They think so. So that's why they're using the 15th. They're like, if it's going to happen. But in all honesty, in my opinion, I'm just sharing this. I do think that you should see something about the Iraqi dinar exchange rate. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think so. I think you're going to see a slight increase. I could be wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's about
right. I hope to be wrong.
Look, my thing is, it's about explaining why you think the way you do, whether it's right or wrong. And so that people can either follow you or agree with you or disagree with you. I mean, come on. 3 days ago, I had some idiot hitting me up, talking about he was going to shoot me. I was like, yeah, good luck. I even gave him my address. I was like, now come find me. I dare you to come try to shoot me. I'll send you home as Swiss cheese, man. You will die of lead poisoning. I don't play with people when it comes to stuff like that. And the guy's like, did you really sit my neighbor's like, did you give me your address? I was like, what do you think? He's like, gosh damn it. Because he's a cop. He lives next door to me. He goes, dude, didn't you make me for the next couple months feel apprehensive and I have to keep looking out the window because you gave me your address? Like, so let's see if he comes. He's not going to come. He's like, one of these days they're going to show up. I go, yeah, well, then you hear a lot of blang, blang. Or what is it? How's it, Kevin Hart? Pew, 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 pew. That's what you can hear out my door. Pew, pew, pew. For us real gangsters, that's what you're going to hear.
Yeah, right. Spray it up. Oh, man.
You're going to do what? You double head tap him. Just in case he lived. I walked up to him. He was breathing, I think, so I double head tapped him. Pow, pow. You want to make sure they're dead.
Right. Don't want them to come back. All right,
what happens if they're a zombie? Double head tap.
Oh, my word. What a way to end the show. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Pimpy, again, thank you. And we'll see you on another show, my friend. Good night, everybody.
Good night.